I can't catch a break. I've been doing these videos past couple days, and then my video player crashes. I don't know that it does, and then I get to the end of the video and it says not responding. I'm gonna switch to a different video recording system here, but I gotta finish this today, so I'm gonna start again, and it's gonna be shorter than I want it to be, but I'm gonna do the best I can here. Um, so for today, we have a severe threat, and I'm gonna show this on top of the water vapor loop, um, right? And you have a slight risk of severe weather, like mostly driven by hail here in the Mississippi Valley, Tennessee Valley, surrounded by a marginal risk, 5%, right? And when we overlay this with SPC graphics, tornado, hail, and wind probabilities, you see the tornado probability is quite small, 2% there, 5% um, wind, which means um, chance of wind 50 knots or greater within 25 miles of a point, 5%, 15% chance of hail exceeding 1 inch in diameter with 25 miles of a point, and tornado risk there. If you overlay that with the radar, uh, you can see that here with that 2% tornado risk. You can see where the most precip is ongoing right now with the, looks like a mid-level feature moving through the flow here. Of course, I can't draw on this again. I have to close this out. Uh, this is not fun today, guys. Close this out real quick. And we'll go back, relaunch my pen. Sorry for the delay here. All right, so very frustrating. See that flow going that way. Looks like if we go back through here to the water vapor, maybe a weak low pressure developing off the coast here, right? And onshore flow here uh, with some rainfall in this area. Switching back to the radar real quickly. Looks like some precip going over the high terrain here at Lake Lee. Um, Lifting, and because it's this lifting over the mountains, of course, it rains out and you don't get a lot going on there. So that's what's going on right now. And for the severe threat today, I had more to talk about here with it, but I'm going to generally go over the 500 millibar flow here and the 500 millibar temps. And you can see where the severe threat is here. And you have this jet stream moving through the flow with pretty cold upper level temps, which can help mitigate any lack of surface heating and lapse rates. So pretty steep lapse rates can lead to more hail, of course, and you have a lot of shear going on as well. And we'll show that real quickly here. All right. So the contours here show the amount of shear in the atmosphere. You have surface-based CAPE, which is the fuel for storms, right? And you can see the CAPE is quite meager, less than 1,000 joules per kilogram, through most of the this area. But um, this time of year, if you get up to about 1,000, I would say that's sufficient for severe storms. And with the mid-level temps being relatively cool, that helps mitigate that, right? And with the amount of shear you have, deep layer shear, you're going to get supercells, may not be rotating that much, but can lead to hail and other things, which would be favorable, right? And so limiting factor really is when we look at this, right? The moisture pull to the north here. Dew points typically you want to see close to 60 degrees for severe weather. And we're getting close to that here, 55, 60. And like I said, it can be mitigated some by um, mid-level temperatures and lapse rates. And the better dew points are further south than where the forcing is. So, you know, that's what's kind of the limiting factor here. Okay. And of course, it's November, so the heating, um, the sun angle is a lot lower, so you don't get as much heating in the atmosphere. So now, this is current hazards. You see here what we got. We got some high winds, winter storm warnings up here into Washington State. Freeze warning along the East Coast. Some other dense fog advisories. Not a lot going on really. Current temps 40s and 50s generally in the Northeast. It's a little bit colder, and in the Mountain West up into the north, you see the colder temps pooling up here, right? Departure from yesterday, warmer than normal in the middle part of the country. Of course, cooler than normal on the East Coast, like we were looking at with the temps are colder right now in the Mountain West, right? And this mostly driven by cloud cover here. So um, cloud cover limits the amount of radiational cooling, which keeps temperatures warmer. Um, Need more moisture in the atmosphere, right? So snowfall in last 24 hours. I'm speaking too fast here. Apologize, guys. Last 24 hours, mostly in the Intermountain West, West Coast, Sierra Nevada range here, and up into the Northeast. Cloud cover, current cloud cover, where we were looking at those systems here, has the most cloud cover. Central part of the U.S., mostly clear here. And of course, the West Coast, some cloud cover with that onshore flow. Precip in the last 24 hours. Let's see if this is, and it's still as of 12 a.m. this morning. On the West Coast, the most rainfall occurred, and along the northern to the U.S. and some in the Florida. Now, there's big talk about this cold air push, and I think the biggest threat, really, for everybody is cold air. The coldest air of the season for the southeast, especially. And these are the diff model solutions showing the vorticity here, and they all generally agree on what's happening, but the placement of the vorticity maximums are different with all these different models, and they all come up with this different solutions for this. Um, so I would say the most favorite area, right, for snow and meaningful snow is up in the Great Lakes and the Appalachians, and maybe some nuisance, not even nuisance, some snow that may melt as soon as it hits the ground. As the mid-level feature moves through the flow here, um, and rings out the vorticity maximum, brings out whatever moisture is left, right? And if you look at the surface here, we can go back to the cut in the US and see what we're talking about here. Let's go back out. So this is the European, right, model. This is on the 9th. That trough out here, low pressure developing. Maybe he wants to develop off the coast here, but doesn't do a lot with it, you know? Yeah, and this system is very dynamic. So whatever moisture is left, it's going to wring out in the form of snow here. Um, Light snow probably, but the favorite areas really back up. You can see right here what I'm talking about as this moves through. Potentially some frozen precip all along here. And the favorite areas in the Great Lakes, of course, lake effect starts build in. And into the northeast, some snow on the backside of this in the north here where this low gets stronger. Okay. Move through the flow. This moves offshore quickly. Okay. And then warm air builds back in, right? Pretty quickly, guys. And if we look at the 850 millibar temps after the system moves through, this is a good indication of how temps are going to look at the surface. You see the darker, um, the warmer colors depict warmer than normal temps at 850 millibars, 20 degrees Celsius above normal, and just the opposite down here. So very opposite setups here. You see the temps move through the flow and generally warm up pretty quickly here. And the northwest flow continues here for the northeast, right? And warmer temps generally for most of the country here with this flow coming off the Pacific, you know, especially for the central US. Um, you know, people want to know how much it's going to snow. So you can see the snowfall amounts here. I'm getting a little tripped up with this because I'm having to move really fast. So sorry, guys. The mountains, the Appalachians may get 2 or 3 inches of snow. And of course, maybe in the feet here, and this is the most snow I think they're going to have so far this year. So the Great Lakes are open for business for lake effect with that cold air and wind blowing over top of it. Definitely. And this isn't really showing. This is a National Weather Service blended models. Isn't really showing much for this area I was talking about, but I wouldn't rule out something there. We'll just have to see. And of course, in the Mountain West is going to be already getting snow. That's just the mountains. That's what happens, this time of year. So temperatures through the time of interest here, see quite warm up until part of that, and cold air moving, building to the south, 20s, 30s overnight for air temps. Now we look at wind chills. This is where it gets chilly, right? Negative wind chills here up in the extreme northern US. Better get prepared for this, guys. And then that cold air pushes to the south, and this is going to be brutal for us down here in the southeast and anywhere east of the Rockies, really. Although up here in the northern tier, it's going to warm up some, warm, relatively speaking, right? For them, that's probably not bad. For you guys up here, and so we move through time. You see what happens. The northern tier of the U.S. stays relatively cool, and to the north of that boundary, to the south, not so much going on. So here's our severe weather threat for today. Tomorrow, just general thunderstorms. And day 3, now we have a marginal risk along the southeast coast into the mid-Atlantic. And the excessive rainfall, there's no excessive rainfall expected over the next 5 days anywhere in the U.S. As far as climate goes, see the warm temps expected to be pulled to the west here, west of the Mississippi Valley for the most part, with the East Coast cool than normal at the beginning of the period, 12th to the 16th. That pushing further east, the warm temps on the west coast, cooler temps. And the moisture, of course, is along the west coast and into the northern tier. Expected to be drier than normal here, a good portion of the eastern part of the country. And that pushes a little further south here, but still the drought continues here for these areas. So that's all I got, guys. Hope you have a great day, and stay safe out there. Bring your plants in, take care of your pets, make sure they're taken care of. And might want to cap your any faucets you have outside or whatever you do to make sure they don't freeze as well. Have a great day.